Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome to today's show.
Don't forget your masks.
Don't forget your masks. Today we're going to talk about the experience that Nick had when he met Dave Bautista on the set of Final Score, which is fantastic.
Such a friend of the stars.
Such a friend of the stars, indeed. So, first of all, Nick, tell us a bit about what your thoughts were of Dave Bautista before you met him then.
Well, he comes across as his character his wrestling character.
Yeah.
Is, he's kind of known as quite a prominent one. Not necessarily a good guy or a bad guy, really.
No, I mean, there was certain times when he was like an omega heel, and he was really horrible and things like that to a lot of the wrestlers. And of course, he was part of the big stable Evolution with Triple H and Ric Flair and Randy Orton, and he was like a top heel. And there was times when he was like a really good baby face and things like that. So the public's opinion of him when in the show was very mixed. You either thought he was fantastic or horrible, So bearing in mind when you thought of that, what were your thoughts when you went on the set of Final Score?
Right, so I was on set so Final Score was filmed back in 2016.
Okay.
At Upton Park, the old West Ham ground.
Okay.
And the storyline is during a match, there's a bit of a hostage situation.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And a bomb situation.
Wow. Okay.
And just everything goes wrong.
So it's quite an intense storyline then.
Oh, you bet it is.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yes. They basically find right. Where's somewhere where we can stick an action film?
Yeah.
And we can just really go all out. Let's stick it at a football game.
Yeah. Well, obviously we saw, with Batman, didn't we, with Bane and the American football bit there with the big explosion. I guess perhaps they were drawing sort of a bit of inspiration from that. And of course, there's lots of other films, isn't there, that are involving football, British ones that have got big action scenes in.
Yes, and I've filmed it in over 4 days in total. 2 days in the September, and then another 2 days in the December because Dave Bautista managed to get injured doing one of the shoots.
Really?
Yes.
Was it during the film or during a wrestling match or something?
No, it was during a scene that they were filming.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what it was that they were doing, but he got an injury. You might not be able to see this, but it's raining, And what happened? No, that's not going to work. So we did a few scenes. So we did a few scenes in the September, including one where we had to run for our lives 30 times because when the explosion went off, so we had to run for our lives from that.
Similar to when you did Spider-Man, wasn't it?
Yes.
You had to do that.
Then there was during all the running, a girl gets taken hostage, and there's a gunshot going off, and we're all running away from that as well. Anytime where you've seen where there's a big running shot in a feature film. That's been filmed at least 30 times.
Wow. So
if not a hell of a lot more.
So Nick has got some good stamina.
Yes, indeed. It is actually written into the description. They're saying, you must be prepared to do lots of running.
Wow. Can you imagine signing a contract and go, yes, I can run lots.
Yes. So, yes, and I had some, and we had the fake blood and stuff like that. So, and they actually did have to do a controlled explosion at one point.
Really?
Yes. So yes, it's all sort of drafted in together.
Cool. So when did you meet Dave Bautista then? Because obviously all this is going on and you're doing all this running and all this sort of stuff. So what happened then? How did you meet him on set?
The September shoot filmings, this was shortly after he'd been injured, so they were using a stunt double for a lot of those scenes, so we didn't see him then. But in the December episodes, when they came back and redid them, I actually met him twice.
Wow!
I once was during a crowd scene where he and another character are talking as they're walking along, and there's a bunch of people behind them, and we're doing lots of we've got to look a bit excited because we're going to a football match, which is very difficult for me, but managed it nonetheless. So I just had...
Well done. That's primo. That's awesome acting there, isn't it?
Indeed. So I had this West Ham scarf on.
Okay.
Other football teams are available, and I just did some jumping up and down, like that, just to look a bit more game for it.
Yeah.
And at the end of at the end of the take,
Yeah.
I was like very close to Dave Bautista at this point. He actually turned around and said to me, "I think you stole that scene from me."
Wow, that's fantastic then.
So shook hands with him, and I was like,
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, he came across like a really nice guy. He didn't say much on set, but actors generally, lead actors, don't say a lot on set.
No, because he's reserving his energy, isn't he?
And
We've been through that before.
Yeah, I mean, you do get asked sometimes, like, what's the worst story of like actors on set? And the thing is, there aren't a lot of the time the actors aren't bad on set. They just don't really talk to people, and we are discouraged from talking to them.
Wow.
Simply because, well, at the end of the day, they've got to get.
Obviously, he
like
reached out to you, didn't he? He spoke to you, so it's fantastic. Now, what I want to know is, does Dave Bautista have a manly handshake, or was he quite reserved?
Well, my hand didn't hurt afterwards.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
I wouldn't say it was. I wouldn't. So I would say, it was probably a bit of both.
Oh, okay, that's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, not that hard. Yeah, it's like, so yeah, he's got a decent handshake on him.
Excellent.
I mean, the thing is,
and the fact that he shook your hand, that must have been a really like a geek moment there.
Trust
that
me,
must
it
be
was.
Awesome. Yeah.
Trust me, it was. And
so
then I met him again.
Oh wow! Okay.
Very luckily, we managed at the very end of the filming on the last day.
Yeah.
There he was getting into his car, and a few of us managed to get photos with him.
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
Me and my friend Aniki, who was also on set, we managed to like jump in, get a quick photo, and then they sent me that, and then Aniki sent me that the following day, and yes, it's very dark. It's like you might not be able to make out it's us initially, and you can only just about make out that it's Dave.
Okay, but that's really cool.
So yeah, I mean, we didn't really get
nice
much of a chance to chat.
But he obviously remembered you and things like that. That's awesome.
So yeah, I would say ultimately he strikes me as a really nice guy. I mean, if you've seen his Instagram posts, he talks a lot about that. He's got a sense of humour. He's not afraid to speak out for what's
rights and all sorts of different things.
Rights and things like that.
That's a good shout out. Definitely, if you're going to add any wrestler on Instagram, definitely add Dave Bautista, because I've got him and I think he's a really interesting guy.
Yes.
And some of his recent films that were on Amazon Prime and things like that were fantastic. I can't remember the exact name of it, but the one where he's like a secret agent and all that sort of thing and has to protect the little girl, and that is hilarious.
Yeah,
so
I think it's My Spy or something
My
like that.
Spy, you're right. Yeah,
that's
fantastic. Yeah. Right, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for this awesome story, Nick.
You are more than welcome. And yes, if you ever get the chance to go and be on a film set, hopefully there'll be more of it in the future, then go for it. Find out more about how films were made and stuff, and then you will definitely appreciate that how people who work in things like the film industry are definitely viable.
And
Mr. Sunak,
skilled.
we mean you.
And very skilled. But that's, of course, another rant for another time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's special episode, and I'm really pleased that Nick was able to share his celebrity
Always a
meetups
pleasure.
and things like that. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.